So going into week 50, or week 17, my bad, week 17 here. The 16th game of the NFL season for these teams. We are talking about the playoff after Monday Night Football Special Edition. The only reason it's called Monday Night Football Special Edition is because, yes, it is a special edition of it because it's usually not on Saturday nights. But the only reason is because the college football playoff semifinals were on New Year's Eve, and one time I believe they had it where it fell on a Sunday or something like that, and they had to flip it to like the day before, the day after, something like that. Maybe, change it, because of ESPN has rights to Monday Night Football and the college football playoff. So they, so they flip-flopped with the NFL and did it with have a Saturday game. Only in that scenario. And the 49ers and the Eagles are number 1 and 2 still. Because the 49ers did beat the Eagles, but the Lions lost and the Cowboys won. So the Eagles need to lose one of their next 2 games. And the Cowboys need to win their next game against Washington in order for the Cowboys to be the 2 seed in the NFC, and the Eagles would fall to 5. The 49ers, the only way they're not the 1 is if they lose and the Eagles win out. However, if the 49ers or the Eagles lose their games to either Washington or Arizona on Sunday, the Lions have a possibility to play for the 1 seed or the 2 seed. The 1 seed would be if both lose. If one of them lose on Sunday, Washington and Arizona win, one of those teams win, Washington or Arizona, then the Lions have a possibility to play for the 2 seed with a win in week 18 over the Minnesota Vikings. So there's the Buccaneers, and they're in the playoffs with the win. They win the South with the win. The Rams have a good chance to prove in the playoffs 87% with the Rams winning. If the Rams win, if Seahawks win, they're 80%. Now the Bears, if they lose, they are out. If the Falcons lose, they still have a thin chance, 6% chance, but might go down to nothing. If the Rams and Seahawks lose, so that'd be the Rams and Seahawks would both have to lose in order for the Falcons, to have a chance. The Saints, if they lose, there's still hope, but they might have actually lost to some of these teams that are headed for them. So they are they lost the Vikings, the Packers. I don't know if they lost the Seahawks, the Rams, or whatnot, but they, so they might have lost some tiebreakers, so they need a lot to go right. The Packers, yeah, they could still be out of the playoffs with a loss. Pretty much be out of the playoffs because due to if the Rams and Seahawks both win, the Packers could be out of the playoffs. The Vikings could be out of the playoffs with a loss too. Yes, the Vikings have every single tiebreaker. If they were to beat the Packers, they would have every single tiebreaker over the 7-8 teams because they beat the Falcons, beat the Saints, beat the Packers once already. So the only team they wouldn't have the tiebreaker was the Buccaneers. If they lost the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers might not be the say 8-8. Buccaneers are say 8-8, and the Saints say are winning the NFC South. Then then things go dicey. But a lot of these teams, it's win, and you're in. If you're the Rams, it's not necessarily winning and you're in, but there's a good chance that's winning you're in for the Rams. There's a good chance that for some of these teams you need help, like the Falcons need help to get in. The Saints, they need some help getting in. The Packers just need to win a couple games. And they're in. They did beat the Rams with their back. I mean, the Rams did have their backup quarterback, so that helped a little bit, but they did win. So they have a tiebreak over the Rams if they were both to the same record. However, if the Vikings were to win, they would have tiebreakers over every team. So Pittsburgh has a good tiebreak, has a good tough game against the Seahawks, or against Pittsburgh. The Seahawks do, so Pittsburgh is a tough game for them. They might be falling, it might be a trap game, you thought Pittsburgh, played 3, games where they didn't look the best, against a struggling Arizona team. The Cardinals, struggling Cardinals team. That was in the rain game where it was a delay. Mind you, it was thunder and lightning delay, and heavy rain delay. Again, that type of scenario. And then, so, so there's a little bit to be said about that, okay. Then they played the rain, but then they fell the Colts, okay, There's the Cardinals. There's one loss in there where they had, where it was the Steelers had that one bad loss to the Patriots. And that one was the real surprise right there. So, but yeah, just mainly focused on the NFC playoff picture today because the Lions lost. So, they have to hope that either the 49ers or the Eagles lose on Sunday, and the Lions then can play for the 2 if one of them 2 loses, or the one possibly both lose. If the Eagles lose, the Cowboys can also play possibly for the 2 seed if they were to beat Washington in Week 18. Regardless, the Eagles beat New York Giants and my Giants. Regardless if they beat the Giants, Eagles did. The Cowboys would have the lead in the NFC East. So we'll see. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting, to see. And then if the 49ers and Eagles both win, then the Lions, the 12-5, they have nothing to play for. They just have pretty much they could play their starters if they really wanted to, but most likely they'll rest their starters Week 18. Hopefully, because I'm a Vikings fan. But if you're a Lions fan, you want them to rest their starters. You don't care if they win Week 18 or not. You'd like them to win Week 18. Yeah, you would, but majority of it is you know, playing, you know, maybe, I mean, there might be some strategy where, like, they could, play and pick their playoff opponent, possibly. I mean, like, they play someone who, like, I mean, I believe the Lions, they played almost everyone that's actually in the hunt for the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, they could pick their opponent. They played the Seahawks, they played the Falcons, they played the Packers, they played the Buccaneers, they played the Packers, they played the Saints, they played the Vikings. They've played every single team pretty much in the hunt of, you know, every single team besides the Rams, which the Rams are favored to be the playoff opponents for the Detroit Lions. So, that is their only chance, you know. Their only one that they haven't played someone familiar. Otherwise, they played everyone familiar this year. They played the Vikings, obviously, once, so played twice. They played the Packers twice. They played the Saints. They played the Falcons. So, they played all these teams, you know. Yeah, they played the Buccaneers. I don't think I played the Buccaneers. Have they? Oh, yes, they have. So they've pretty much played everyone except for the Rams. So they have a good opportunity, you know, to actually, you know, if they lost the team, you know, they can see what they did wrong again, you know, and correct it. I mean, which they already did once, but they can obviously see what they did wrong in the loss if it's a division opponent, like the Packers. You know, see what they did wrong, you know, and see what they did right in the win, you know. And we obviously, you know, then they lost, you know, through interception, but you can still take, you know, strike some of that, you know, out. Try to do some more deep dives on it, and then, you know, so we'll see in that one. So we'll see, you know, how it goes. It's gonna be interesting. A big game is in the NFC. Big game is 49ers in Washington. Eagles in Arizona, big game. Arizona, Eagles, big game. San Francisco or 49ers at Washington, big game. There's a big game line. The Cardinals is a big game. Trade Dallas is a big game. Those Buccaneers have a big game against New Orleans. Rams have a big game against NY Giants. Seahawks have a big game against Pittsburgh. Vikings have a big game against the Packers. You know, so there's a bunch of big games. Falcons have a big game against the Bears. There's a bunch of big matchups. You know, in the NFC. There's a few big matchups. There's some big matchups in the AFC as well, but you know, NFC has more like unknowns. NFC pretty much has more unknowns. You already know the Rams, Dolphins are just gonna get first. And the other team's gonna get second, most likely. You know, Chiefs just have to win. They're in. Jaguars and Colts, they could lose their division, but yeah, Colts or Texans, you know, could bounce in. There's some uncertainty with the 8 to the 7 seed, but if the Colts were to lose, you know, then it puts the Texans, Bengals, Steelers, those 8 and 7 teams. If one of those most likely are going to win, you know, probably most likely the Colts, Texans, or Steelers, one of those three will win. So they'll put them at 9 and 7. You know, they'll put the Bills. If they win, most likely they'll win. They'll be 10 and 6. So they'll most likely be in. I mean, all four of them could lose, but that'd be like a big shocker. And then the Bills, if they won, they'd be in every team's 8-8. So, but we'll see, But yeah, so till next time.